the two reports on Axis. On Axis, they reported first the United States has given Iran a new proposal, and it was rejected by Iran. And the second point was that because of that rejection, Donald Trump going to attack Iran, and they're going to escalate. It's going to be a massive attack on Iran. And from the Iranian side, we haven't heard anything about a new proposal from the United States or something of that sort. And what is your understanding of that? Do you think, and if that was a proposal, how was that the same as MOU or something else? What do we know about that? What do you speculate on that?
No, I don't think the U.S. has yet come back in with a proposal. They'll probably wait till Monday. I think the way this is going to play out is that this, because Trump's been talking up this massive missile strike, this massive bombing strike. He's going to obliterate Iran again. He's been talking about that for several days. I think he'll wait until tomorrow, Friday afternoon, at about 4 p.m. after the stock markets close, after the financial markets are closed in the United States, that he'll launch this massive strike. Now, what remains to be seen is one of the things that could be a game changer in it is if Iran has acquired air defense systems capable of shooting down B-1, B-2, or B-52 bombers. Usually they fly so high that they're believed to be immune. But if the S-400 or the Russians or the Chinese systems have come in, if Iran shoots down one or two of those planes, that could really create a major problem for Trump. But I think they are going to do it, and they may even try to gin up some ground invasion. But I think that will be that'll be a suicide mission if they choose to do it. But they'll launch it tomorrow. There'll be the activity Saturday, so Sunday. Then we'll find out then if Trump is planning to continue to escalate this, sustain this. But what he's going to be up against is Iran's not going to be sitting back just taking the punishment and doing nothing. Iran's going to be retaliating and has promised to retaliate with weapons previously not seen or introduced on the battlefield. I don't know what that means, but we may find out.
Do they have the logistics if they want to go on the ground, if they want to go with some sort of invasion?
No, they don't. But they're not worried about that. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. There is no viable ground strategy for the United States. Now, can they put some troops in on Karg Island temporarily and have them run around with a flag? Maybe. But again, to put military force on those islands, on Karg or on Kemch, is you got to come back. So what's the mission? Now, my understanding is the topography of Kemch Island is as rugged as Okinawa was. And we talked about Okinawa the last time, the challenges it presented to U.S. military forces during World War II.
Yeah. Today we've seen how the price of oil is increasing, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump today, he was talking about the Houthis, the Yemenis, and he somehow said that whatever they're going to do, we're going to respond to Iran and we're going to attack. The attack on Iran, going to respond to them. He's somehow ignoring what Yemen is doing because he's fighting Iran. He doesn't want to somehow open a new front with Yemen. And is that going to help him with the ongoing conflict with the price of oil? Or as tomorrow is, as you mentioned, is Friday, he doesn't care until Monday. I assume it's going to go above.
The only thing that, apart from market manipulation, which Trump and his team have been doing over the past year, The only thing that's going to bring the price of oil down is an end to the fighting, an agreement between a truce, a diplomatic agreement between the Saudis and the Houthis, in which the Saudis lift their aerial blockade and the Houthis said, okay, we lift our maritime blockade. So that oil starts flowing. And then the United States agrees, okay, Iran, you control the Strait of Hormuz, you can charge a fee, all oil. That's the only thing that'll start bringing the price of oil legitimately down. By the way, let me give you another fun fact I just looked up. Karg Island is about the exact same size as Iwo Jima. So again, I like to put these in perspective. You look at how many Marines had to land on Iwo Jima to try to take Iwo Jima. Now, admittedly, it was a much. It had this mountain at the south end of the island, and a network of caves and underground fighting positions. So it was a bloody battle for the Marines. But it's just to point out the size of the island and your ability to conduct military operations. So, but again, if they conduct that kind of operation, that's certainly not going to help the price of oil. Because the price of oil is, it looks like it's going to be up for quite a while until Trump, the minute Trump, he'll come out. Let's say he comes out on Sunday, and I'm not predicting he'll do this, but he could come out on Sunday and say, okay, our bombing of Iran has proved effective. They're begging for relief. They're coming back to the table to talk. So we've got a meeting set up in Islamabad on Tuesday. Oh, then the oil will start coming back down on the paper market. Now the actual supply is still in short supply, so you can't ignore that reality.
Here is the Hark Island based on the photo of NASA, Larry. Here is the island. You see,
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's
Draw up a picture. Pull up a picture of Iwo Jima.
Iru,
Iwo, IWO, Jima, JIMA. To show the comparison.
yeah, it appears Hiroshima.
No, not Hiroshima. Iwo Jima.
Yeah. It starts with H.
IWO.
Ah,
JIMA. Iwo
okay.
Jima.
Iwo Jima. Okay,
You
just
don't
let me.
you don't know your history. No, I shouldn't expect uh, a kid born in Iran going to school in Germany to be up to speed on U.S. military history in the Pacific from 80 years ago. But I had higher expectations of you. But I
Yeah,
want you to see this. I want you to see the
yeah,
similarity in these two islands.
let me just bring it up here.
Okay,
This is
flip
Iwo
it.
Jima.
Yeah, flip it, and I mean it looks somewhat
It's
similar
so
to Karg
similar.
Island.
Yeah, it's similar.
Now,
Yeah,
down at that skinny point on the left, on your
yeah.
left, that's where uh, this extinct volcano was. That you've seen the famous photograph of the Americans raising the flag on Iwo Jima. Five
Mhm.
guys pushing the flag. That's where that photograph was taken.
Yeah,
But again, I want to put it into context for these people that cavalierly talk about, oh yeah, we can just land on Karg Island and we're gonna take it over, guys. And admittedly, a different tactical and strategic situation with the Japanese compared to the Iranians, but the Iranians we've been threatening to take that island, and I'm sure the Iranians have made preparations to fight back. And, well, we don't have the advantage of this time we'd be having to land Marines or Army troops via helicopter, via aircraft. It'd just be a nightmare.
Yeah, this is the flag that you've mentioned. Yeah.
Suribachi, Mount Suribachi.
Yeah. Then I don't know if Keith Kellogg was there
No,
because he says
he,
he was in each and every war and he won all of them together, and that's
he
why he's
may.
advocating.
I think he was still. Maybe he was finally toilet trained by then. He was still wearing diapers. Maybe just out of. He was just a kid, a toddler back then. But
Yeah.
apparently hadn't learned anything.
These people, Larry, are basically motivated with the contracts they have. They don't care about
Money, 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 money.
exactly.
Have you ever seen the musical Cabaret
Yeah, yeah,
with Joel Gray and Liza Minnelli?
yeah,
And when they sing that song, "Money, Money, Money," and they're representing their stories about the decadence of Nazi Germany before it plunged the world into war. And it was all about the money.
Larry, do you have any understanding of how many casualties did that war in Iwo Jima they had? The casualties?
Yeah, I think it was over 5,000. Well, total casualties. I want to say 30,000.
Yeah.
Let me look that up. Uh,
Because
um,
at least you can have some sort of understanding. They tried to do that. 26,000 American casualties, including roughly to 6,800 or to
yeah,
70,000, 6,800 death.
yeah, yeah.
And,
So yeah, I was told. I thought it was around 30. So it was, but it was considered at the time one of the largest losses of life. And let's call it it was a 36-day battle. Um, the Battle of Okinawa, again, an island the size of Kemch, um, that involved, um, so on Karg, they landed 70,000 Marines, and roughly one third of the Marines were casualties. On Okinawa, they landed 190,000 troops, and there were 50,000 casualties, which
yeah,
is, closer to 28%. So, but it just goes to show that these are comparable sizes to get control. You know, there's no we don't have 70,000 troops to land on Karg Island.
those days are gone, Larry. I don't know if the society in the United States can go under such a pressure from the death, from the casualties, the way it was before.
Right. No, I
Because those
agree. Of
old days were different than today.
course, Trump, God, his ignorance is just shocking. Today, he was talking about the casualties suffered in Vietnam. He talked about 200,000 dead. And it's like there were 58,000, a little over 58,000 dead. And the number now is, they keep adding a few names every year. It may be close to 59,000. But again, for him to not even have a clue of how many.
I assume many of these soldiers and forces asking themselves, what are we doing here? What is the main objective? To be here, to fight. For what? What is the objective? Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's where you sing Country Joe and the Fish. You know, well, it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next
Yeah,
stop is Vietnam.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or Edwin Starr's War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
I believe all. Yeah, let's not go that way. But Larry, what is so important right now is the attack on Kuwait, which is getting too devastating for Kuwait. And if let's assume they try to do something underground against Kuwait, what are the capabilities of Kuwait of defending itself underground?
Zero or close to zero. They would be in very desperate strait. Um, the uh, it looks like the ruling family in Kuwait is evacuating. There are videos showed up today showing, the cars associated with the royal family being loaded on aircraft. They're bugging out. King Abdullah of Jordan, he's hanging out in London. I bet all these cats, the head of Bahrain's ruling family, uh, I bet you they're hiding out in Paris or London because, Iran really is blasting Kuwait. They're still going after the power plants. They're still going after the desalinization plants. So it's pretty brutal. They're not letting up. And it is it's going to be uninhabitable for U.S. forces at all, and they're picking apart any HIMARS system that's there, any Patriot system that's there. It's getting targeted and destroyed if they can. And I don't think you're going to find too many U.S. personnel being kept there in country.
There is still U.S. personnel there in those countries. Today we've learned that I don't know how many of them are still there because these HIMARS, these weapons are still there. They're using them.
Well, it's not clear if they're using them or if they got contractors that are using them or local Kuwaitis that are using them.
Today was reported that the Amazon data center in Bahrain was destroyed. At least the photo came out showing that you know the devastation and these countries it's huge what's going on in the region, Larry,
Yeah.
economically
No,
and
no. Iran's strategy is to crush them. Yeah, they're going to make them uninhabitable unless they align themselves with Iran and they stop being used as a proxy by the United States.
does is there any sort of red line for Donald Trump continuing the war and devastating these countries? You said the leadership maybe is they're gonna they're leaving the country, but how about the people? They're living there and they're
We've seen no evidence that Trump has a red line. No, but we've also seen what we do know from the past is when political polling results come in, when the economic results with the stock market today again took a major beating. I mean, uh, yeah, the Dow was down 506 points. NASDAQ was down 553 points, which was an even bigger drop. So, uh, he's going to look at the stock market. They're losing money. He's going to look at the price of gas. It's going up. He's going to recognize that's got some political problems. He's going to start yelling at people. He was promised that this would turn around. He'll probably sign off on this massive bombing of the nuclear sites, and uh, then it'll be up to Iran to see how Iran responds. Israel's fully expecting Iran to hit them this weekend, Friday or Saturday, which I can't rule that out.
why are they somehow so afraid of Iran attacking them? I
Well,
saw no sign Iran attacking them or
yeah.
wanting
Well,
to attack.
number one, uh, Israel has no effective air defense system anymore. Iron Dome's useless. David Sling's useless. The U.S. is out of Patriot and THAADs. Those are so they don't have any air defense. the missile accuracy of the Iranians has gone way up. And right now, Israel is barely scraping by. It's got two critical oil refineries that basically produce diesel and jet fuel. One's in Ashdod and the bigger one's in Haifa. Both were damaged during the first 42 days, but well, they're still able to operate to some extent. If they get hit again and taken out, then Israel's not going to have any jet fuel or diesel. No jet fuel, no combat air operations, no diesel, no ground operations. And there's not like there's some other alternative out there that they can tap into.